Hey everybody, it's Audrey and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this episode, I will take you through the house progress to date. As a lot of you know, my house burnt down on March 20th and we have begun the process of rebuilding. It feels like a really slow process. Right now, we're crammed into a small room at my parents' house, but we hope to be in our new house by Christmas. Starting at the beginning, this is our old house. We had it torn down. We had the property leveled out. It needed a lot of dirt work done even before the house fire. So we got all of that done, made it all one level, and then started digging for the basement. This new house is a little bit more complicated of a layout. Our previous house was kind of just a rectangle, and this one has a bit more corners. So it definitely takes longer to do, and it definitely makes people a little bit wary to take on this project just because it is so much more labor intensive with all the corners. But this is the basement progress. And please forgive me, I know no technical terms, but after the basement was dug, they began the footings and getting the first layer of rock down. So those are the footings right there. And then they could start forming the walls. Those things that are being propped up by wood, those are forms that they will pour concrete into. So they kind of work their way around it. These are some more forms that they are putting up here. Here is a concrete truck coming to pour the forms. So typically like a normal concrete truck has like a little slide that the concrete comes out of, but when they're pouring it into the forms, it's that big long tube thing that they use. Here, half of the basement walls, have been poured, and they're just taking the forms off now so that they can reuse them on other places. And this is what the walls look like without the forms on there. These forms have like a brick pattern to them, so it looks like it's brick, but it's not. There's definitely a lot of stuff that they use. And then sadly, after they had finished pouring the walls, I decided that our bedroom wasn't big enough because I spend a lot of my time in my room and that's where I do my work. So they actually had to come back. I mean, they were already there, but they had to kind of create a whole new wall section for my bedroom. You'll see that here in a bit. Here they're just forming up the other half of the walls so that they can pour them. Here is all of the basement walls poured except for the little addition that they needed to do. Now, the basement won't have this addition, but because of the weight load, they kind of needed to make like half walls where that part of my bedroom addition will sit just to support it, if that makes sense. And if you can see the orange paint on the ground, that we had mapped out where we thought we were going to put rooms in the basement for the framers. We actually end up moving things a little bit more before the framers come. And then if you look closely, you can see that they have formed up the wing walls, which are the walls outside of the basement that kind of hold the dirt back like a retaining wall. And then if you look in the top left corner, you can see that they have formed up the walls to support my bedroom addition. It's not a large addition. It was just like another 8 feet out that they did. They also put, some type of coating around the basement walls and started to backfill rock now that the basement walls had set for a decent amount of time. Here you can see that little addition has been poured. And then my husband got a nice shot of the trees all around us. So pretty. Look, he's up with the birds. Is that not so cool? We had never owned a drone before, but when we started this rebuilding process, I told him that it would probably be a good idea to buy one, and I'm so glad we did. Now here they are completely done with forms, and they have moved on to setting rebar to pour the basement floors. They started in this one little room here. And if you're wondering why there is a room right there, my husband calls it our safe room for like tornadoes and stuff. The actual purpose of it is to support the load of the porch when it is poured. And by porch, I mean back porch, not the front porch. That is the back of the house there. Here they have laid the rebar in the rest of the basement, and they have begun pouring that one room. They did that room separate, and then they came back and did the rest of the floor another day. We're super grateful for all of their work, especially because some of these days were like record heat. It was very, very hot. So I was not envious of them at all. I'm super, super grateful. Now here we are on a different day, and they have begun pouring the basement floor, the rest of the basement floor. Once they had finished pouring the basement floor, they moved on to doing the footings for the garage. And then once the garage footings were done, they started forming up walls for the garage as well. And these forms are, again, just to support the weight of the concrete. They're not actual walls. And then one morning when I was heading to work, I saw lumber being delivered, so I followed him like a stalker. This is drone footage, but you can see my car driving by on the street there. And our driveway is extremely narrow and steep, so I feel for anyone that has to make a big delivery like this. It's not easy, I'm sure. And then here is the concrete truck for the first pour on the garage floor. I'm not really sure why I'm saying first. I think they did all of the garage floor in one day, if I'm not mistaken. I cut these videos down for your sake, but honestly, I could just sit and watch these guys work all day. It is so fascinating to me. I cannot fathom how they're able to do stuff like this. And now at this point, we are done with concrete until the framing has finished and they can come back and pour the porches. So here is the framing for the basement. They are forming walls and putting in floor joists to support the weight of the main part of the house. I am counting down the days until they have the main level framed. I'm so anxious and excited to take you around and show you the different rooms. We don't plan to use our basement much. In our other house, we had put like a living room with a projector. Our gym was down there. We had a kitchenette, our storage room, a bathroom, and my husband's office. In our new house, my husband's office will be on the main level, and my daughter has a large room of her own, and that's where the kids will spend most of their time, so we don't anticipate the basement being used that often. We'll basically just go down there for the gym. I'll go ahead though and walk you through the basement. When you first walk in, this will just be open area. Back here in this corner is where we will put our little kitchenette. If we ever have like a birthday party and we need more space, we'll come down here. It'll just have a sink, countertop, mini fridge, and microwave. We tried to be strategic with the pole supports for the basement, so this is kind of like a U-shaped main area because we needed the poles to kind of be in the walls, if that makes sense. So the gym is kind of in the middle of all of this, and then there will be one pole support right in the middle of the gym. That is perfectly fine. And then you can see on down there, there's another pole support, but it will be built into the wall, so you won't see that one. This is the gym, and then we'll go back out to the hallway. And then this room right here that we will be going into is the storage room. We will also have the water heater, HVAC, breaker box. All of that will be in the storage room as well. Come back to the main area. There is the room we had to have with the support for the porch. And then you come over here, and this is just an extra bedroom we have. Right here is the closet for it. And then here is the like ensuite. And that's just an empty space. And then here is the stairwell to go upstairs. And that is it. That is the whole basement. They have begun work on the main level, so they've done all of the subfloor and they've started framing walls. They kind of do like a little staging with the walls at first, and then they put them upright. So they've staged some on the ground, and then there's just one wall standing upright. But it is the second bedroom wall and the living room wall combined there. That big gap in the wall is like an area where we will have access to the porch, and it'll be like all windows, so it'll be really nice. The wall itself, I don't remember, I'd have to ask my husband, but it's really tall. It's like 10 foot tall or something, and then the ceilings in the living room vault up like to 12 foot, or again, I'm not sure on the dimensions. And then that is the progress to date. I will be posting these a lot more often now that progress is really moving forward on the house. I hope you all enjoyed it. Please like this video, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you next time.